Every morning at 5 o'clock, Henry usually takes the Flying Kipper. He takes fresh fish all over the island for shops in the towns and delivered towards engines on branch lines. However, one day, Henry was asked to take a heavy goods train to the mainland, and he won't return until the next day. The fat controller looked at his timetable for spare engines. He came to the branch line sheds at Tidmouth. "Thomas, I want you to stay the night at the mainline shed," he said. "Yes, sir." "For what?" asked Thomas. "I've sent Henry to the mainland with a goods trade, and he won't return until morning. So I want you to take the Flying Kipper for him, as you are the only engine available." So Thomas puffed away to the sheds. Thomas was not used to get up in the early stages of the morning. His branch line train starts about 7:15, and that was early enough for him. The mainline engines were surprised to see him. "Haven't seen you here in a while, Thomas," said Gordon. "Indeed, Gordon. I'm here to haul the Flying Kipper tomorrow morning." Gordon laughed. "Oh dear, Thomas. The Flying Kipper is no important train like my local service. Passengers need to get to their station no matter how big or small, despite I said that they're slow years ago. The Kipper is not much of a stylish or a luxurious train as well. It's just a run-down and smelly fish train." Thomas decided to say nothing, and he went to sleep instead. His fireman came to stoke his fire the next morning. Then as he got steam up, Thomas puffed away to the harbour. The fishermen were busy unloading their catch from the fishing boats. Nobody knows exactly what happened, but Thomas was still rather sleepy as he backed towards his train. Perhaps his crew were tired as well, but he puffed right into a pile of fish. Fish landed everywhere. "Oh no," groaned Thomas. There was no time to clean them up, so Thomas was cleared of the spilt fish, and with sand over the fish oil tracks, he puffed away. When the sun rose up, Thomas collected Annie and Clarabelle. His two coaches smelled something strange. "Oh dear," said Annie. "What a pong," remarked Clarabelle. "Sorry, Annie and Clarabelle. I had an accident with the fish." Thomas felt silly as he told them what had happened. When he shunted himself into the station, some of the waiting passengers couldn't help but notice the smell as well. "What's that fishy smell?" they asked. "I think Thomas went fishing again," chuckled the guard heartily. Poor Thomas had to keep telling his story, but worse still was that Gordon came in with his local service. Even he smelt the smell. "Oh dear, Thomas," laughed Gordon. "Just because it's called the Flying Kipper doesn't mean you have to smell like a fish." Oh. Thomas fumed, but Gordon thought it was very funny. As some of Gordon's passengers boarded Thomas's train, the little tank engine puffed away. When he returned to Tidmouth, the fat controller came to see him. "Oh dear, Thomas, you must get to the washdown right away." "Yes, sir. Thank you, sir," replied Thomas. As he was being scrubbed and polished, he thought how to pay Gordon back. But all that happened before he could ask the fat controller. "Gordon, I want you to take the Flying Kipper tomorrow morning." Gordon was shocked at such an idea. "Me? To pull the Flying Kipper, sir? Why not Henry? Wasn't he supposed to be here? There were several delays for Henry over on the mainland, and he'll be staying at the Heritage Railway for the night. He won't be back until first light. But... Oh... But Gordon just sighed, and he had no choice but to admit defeat. Cheer up, Gordon. At least it has the word flying in it, teased Duck. But Gordon just huffed. Gordon arrived into the harbour yard early next morning. Gordon was disgusted by the smell of the fish. Disgraceful, muttered Gordon. He then puffed away along the main line. This distasteful smell must be delivered fast. Driver, please add more speed. After he delivered a few vans to Edward Station, he charged up his hill. Almost done, and not to hinder a fish on me, he chortled. But what he didn't know was that the vans were old. The men at the harbour tried to warn him, but he was very stubborn that he didn't listen. The coupling had snapped, and Gordon sped down the line. He stopped at Marin. The Flying Kipper has arrived. But the men who were to unload the fish thought the vans weren't there. Then the unexpected had happened. One of the vans exploded right behind Gordon's tender, and most of the weight of the trucks pushed Gordon right out of the station. Fish was everywhere. Oh, bother, groaned Gordon. Boko came and took the remaining vans to the other stations, while Diesel took Gordon back to the big station yards, with no damage being found. I need a wash before my local service, wailed Gordon. No, you won't, Gordon. You didn't listen to orders from the men about the coupling. So you will take your local service now. Gordon felt very embarrassed for the rest of the day. But he felt even more embarrassed when he met up with Thomas. Oh dear Gordon, just because it's called the Flying Kipper doesn't mean you have to smell like a fish. Oh, the indignity.